Hello everyone, I'm back with another update for the Cycles plugin for 3ds Max. Today I'm releasing version Alpha 3.03, and this video will be covering some new features in that, but mostly this will just be sort of an introduction into building realistic materials in Cycles, like taking an existing scene, looking at the materials in it, and rebuilding those in Cycles so we can render it out. So what I'll be doing for a simple example here, you can follow along if you'd like. This is a scene that ships with Max, just in the default Max scenes. I'll be using this Troll Cleric here. So what I'm going to do is just go over the scene, go over all the materials used, and rebuild them as Cycles materials, then render it out at the end. So let's get to it. So first of all, we want to pick the materials we have. We'll start with the easy ones, which are the ground and grass, and then the character is where it gets complicated. So this material, oops, I have my previews off. This material is a simple, just green diffuse, nothing special about it. So when I switch my renderer here, so I can get at my Cycles materials, pull over Cycles diffuse, and actually let's see what color this is. This is 34, 73, 44, so alright, and then we will assign that to the ground. And this is the bug that happens occasionally. Right when you assign a material, it won't appear right in the viewport. So what you can do is just change any parameter and change it back, and then it will be colored correctly in the viewport. Next material is the grass. So take these guys. And this is also a very simple material. It's just a diffuse color, but this time it's a map. So I'll copy this guy over. We'll make this material here, and I will apply it to the grass. Turn on show map and viewport. Alright, great. So now for the real material on the character. So as you can see, this is sort of complicated. It's got 6 maps going on, which is not a whole lot, but more than anything else I've shown in these videos so far. So let's get to it. First of all, I'll just clone all these maps down here so I have an open spot to work in. And I will also re-import the normal, because rather than cloning the normal node that is in the scene has messed up gamma. So you want to choose normals.jpg in here and set it to gamma of 1.0, or else the normal maps will not appear right. So now I got these, and I'm just gonna take a second here to label all of these materials with what they're used for. So, or rather, just the slot they're connected to up here on the standard material. So we have diffuse, we have specular level, we have glossiness, we have self-illumination, we have opacity, and we have normal. So let's get to making the materials. I'll just go down these maps in order. So the first one is diffuse. Just really easy. You take a diffuse material, plug in the map. That is it. That map is accounted for. Next one is specular level. And what we have to do for here is actually add a glossy node, and then add a mix. So our final material is a composite of this diffuse and glossy. So I'll plug this in to A, plug this into B. Then I'll take the specular level map and plug that into FacMap. So what that will do for our final material here is the parts of this map that are black will be entirely the diffuse material. The parts that are solid white will be entirely the glossy material. And most of it is gray, which will be somewhere in between those two. Next, we have the glossiness map. And Cycles doesn't work in terms of glossiness, it uses roughness instead. But roughness is actually just usually pretty much reverse glossiness. So we can take this color correction node, plug that into the roughness, and then set this to invert. So we get the colors we're looking for in that map. But as you can see, what this has done to the glossy node is it's made it not very glossy at all, because this map is very white, so a lot of parts of this are just incredibly rough, such that they don't reflect at all, really. But the parts that don't reflect are largely handled by our specular level map. So what we can do is just darken this up a bit. Put it at -65. And that will just make the whole map a little bit darker, which once our preview updates here, you should see there are actually some more specular highlights now that are visible. Some parts are visibly rougher than others, whereas before it was all just kind of a mess. So ordinarily I'd probably play around with this a little bit more for the purpose of this demo. This is good. But that is a thing to be careful when you're repurposing a glossiness map. You're going to have to play around with the levels a bit to get it to behave right. All right, so that covers the diffuse, specular, level, and glossiness. Next up is self-illumination. And what I will do for this one is pull in a cycles emission node. So what this will do is the black parts of this map will emit no light, and the colored parts will emit light according to their color. So what I do with these two is I grab a cycles add and just add them together. So we still have this composite material we were making before, but now just some bits of it will be emitting light as well. And then it will render that out. Okay, that's all set. Next up to account for is opacity. Now the way this map works is the white parts are completely opaque, the black parts are transparent. So we already have a material that's completely opaque, we need something to account for the transparent parts, so we will take this cycles transparent shader, and we will set its color to solid white. And what that will do is it will just make all light will just pass through it perfectly. It's like the material isn't even there. So it's just perfectly transparent, and there's nothing else to it. So what I will do is add a mix node. So some parts of our material will use the transparent, some parts will use our opaque composite material here. And this is something to always watch out for when using mix nodes. You have to consider what your map is to know how you'll order those nodes and what you'll plug into material A and what you'll plug into B. So if we look at our map, we have white is opaque, which is a value of 1, and our black is transparent, which is a value of 0. So if we look at our cycles mix, you'll see 0 is the A slot and 1 is the B slot. So we want our transparent material on A, and we want our opaque material on B. And we'll render a preview. And I will plug in this fact map. So now with that, everything should be accounted for here so far except the normal map. And what I will do with the normal is I will plug it into two materials here. Back this up a little bit. So first I'll show you what's going on with normal maps. There's this new, in the latest version of the plugin, there's this new normal parameters rollout, and it has all your options for dealing with your normal map, with how strong the effect will be, and you can use a map so your normal map has different strengths on different parts of your model, but you just have to tick this enable normal map box there, also over here, because I want the normal to apply to both these diffuse and the glossy parts, and then just plug it in. So that is it. The material is now ready. So I'll just go over here. Oops. Oh yeah, it's just re-rendering some thumbnails quick. I'll go over there and I will apply this material to. Come on. Okay, all back now. And I will apply that material to the model. And you'll see it appears black. That's that same bug as earlier. Just press a button here, and that should make it. Yeah, that'll make it update so you get a more visible material in the viewport. So we'll close out of that. Actually, nope. I need it for one more thing quick. The only thing I haven't accounted for here is the environment. This window's been really I'll turn off previews, because what's happening is anytime one of these materials changes, it has to update the whole chain and re-render all these thumbnails. So for now, I'll just turn that off and then I'll turn it back on at the end. So what we haven't accounted for is the environment maps. So this map is a gradient. It's not really a gradient, it's just all black. So I'm just going to turn that off for this scene, and I'll replace it with a white sky. because I believe in the Mental Ray one, there's a light setup on this model. That light is not compatible with cycles, so we won't get it. So I will just I'm just lighting the scene with just the sky rather than with any lights placed in the scene. So that should do it. Now I will begin the rendering. So I'll switch it to CUDA to be a little bit faster. I'll switch this to 256 by 256. Then I will render it out. Now what's going to happen when you render scenes with high resolution bitmaps like this is the renderer actually has to take those bitmaps and bake them out to be compatible with cycles at the beginning of the render. So that's what's happening right now in this this long initializing renderer step. There will be speed improvements coming to this in the future, but for now it's a little bit slow. So I'll be cutting the video here and coming back once the render is complete. Okay, and here we are back with the final output of that render. And not all of the maps are really clear on here. Like the glossiness is pretty subtle, but I invite you all to try this out on your own. The scene ships with Max. Try it out, play around with the materials to just get a better idea of exactly what each of them is doing. Like the normal map is actually not super visible in this lighting, but it's all there. It's all accounted for in this image. So, last thing I wanted to do, I just want to cover one more bit I realized I forgot earlier. That's an important part of using normal maps. And that is, go back to this glossy material here, this checkbox for invert green channel. So the reason this is here is that the way 3ds Max works is this is a bitmap that was initially made to be used with 3ds Max and Mental Ray. And the way that works is the green channel is the opposite of what it needs to be for cycles. So when you're plugging in a bitmap, if it was made for Max, make sure this box is checked. If it was made for cycles, make sure the box is not checked. Just a little pointer there, because that will make your normals look very wrong if that box is in the wrong state. But I've got nothing else really to add for this video. I hope it's been informative, and I'll be continuing to post updates as I add cool new features. Thanks for watching.